Again, last one for now. I'm just finishing up the very last petal, which is what we were doing in the last video. I might come back on here at a later time and find a pattern that's free, and I will give you some specs on how many chains and how many singles and so that and I'll write it in the bottom, and so you guys can follow along with something, and you don't have to do all the searching yourself. I have all this kind of stuff. And if I hadn't said it somewhere else, Ravelry is like one of the best places to look for patterns and other stuff with knitting and crocheting, and I think they even have stuff on there for the spinners and the woolies out there, which I might get into on other videos if Mom lets me take over one of her rooms at her house. So alright, I just did the last single, and over here is the first petal. This is the last petal. In the first petal you'll find the chain stitch that we did. Let's see if I can get close enough. That little hole right there, and on the top it looks like the rest of the V's that we've been talking about. That's what you're looking for, but you'll see in front of it there's another one of those little gaps areas. That's what you're looking for, and you're just going to simply slip stitch it through. So you're going to take your hook, push it through the underneath those two V's, or one V but two yarns. Push it through, grab the yarn, pull it through. So you have two on here, and then you're just going to continue to pull the yarn that's here the whole way through the first chain, and you'll be done. Now to finish off, I have this here. I just grab my yarn as if I was on a chain. Instead, I keep pulling and pulling until it's tight, until I have some yarn that I feel like I can sew in. This is usually all I leave. Either this is enough yarn to crochet it into the next round, or it's enough that I can get a yarn needle, which I don't have any on me right now because I lose them all the time, and I'll just sew it into the back of a leaf. And I'll show you how to do that maybe on a later video about how to sew, or how I sew them in, because I'm not that great at it. And people in here make it look incredibly easy and like the yarn will never come back out, but it does for me. And I resorted to knots and such. But, as I said, this is the finished work. Another one of these cute little flowers, perfect for putting on a hat even, or I put them on, not barrettes, I do put them on barrettes, and I put them on hairbands. I put them on hairbands because I do like them. I put them in my own hair. And so I put them on those, and you can make bigger ones and smaller ones depending on your hook size and your yarn size. So even if you got multiple ones of these, you could even do something fun and funky, like put a couple of them that weren't the same color. A couple of them with one of those little gems in the centers, on little tiny cute little things up in your hair. They would look like that without the yarn hanging off of it. Or like I'm doing, I'm making them into a blanket. So that's everything. Oh, I also wanted to go over, like, let's say you're finished, you've tied it all in, and you realize, not here, but the whole way at the beginning of your row, you made an accident. Let's say that I was supposed to make 6 of these, which that's not the number, but 6 of these doubles, and I only made 5, which has actually happened. And what I like to do is just look at my work then. Does it look like a problem? If it looks like it's noticeable to the point where I can never look at the work in a whole and not see the problem, I would resort to just picking, where did it go? Picking out, which is very hard if you don't have nails, picking out that little knot, and then you can just pull your way back. Don't worry. I know it's scary to pull out your work, but what's the worst that could happen? You have to start over from scratch anyways. I have to make like 100 of these things anyways. So you can just pull it out, but I'm lazy. And if I just feel like I would never notice it, and a non-knitter, non-crocheter, who's what I make a lot of my work for, would never notice the fact that it's missing one of these, then I would just let it go. Don't freak out. Everyone makes mistakes. Everyone has those little tiny forgotten stitches, or stitches that weren't the right size, or something went haywire in your work. And we all like to call that artistic design. And not to freak out about it. It's all fun. No one's hounding you. So, that's everything. I'll be back with more, I'm sure. And this is just a test one, so please give me any tips. I do know that the lighting was bad, and the position was bad, and that I should probably come back with bigger, thicker yarn next time. But, for now, I'm hoping this is a really nice way to get started in here.